Alrighty, welcome back to another Independent Artist Spotlight. This is your host, Jason Bordeaux, on behalf of Ryan Righteous, Sean Tana, and DJ Jeremiah from the TrackStarz radio show and podcast. This week, or this episode, we have CHH artist who actually is amongst a whole lot of other things in his professional life. But we have Mr. Prafit Josiah. How you doing, man?
Wonderful, wonderful. How you doing?
I am fantastic, man. It's good to have you on the call, brother.
Yes, it is. Finally, we got, take two happening, so hopefully it'll go nice today.
Man, yeah, for sure. I tell you, man, technology is a blessing, but sometimes it's aggravating too, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's why you gotta be on top of it.
for real, man. So fresh off of a new single, and by the time this comes out, it would have been featured in our line for line showdown. So
okay.
So as of this moment, I'm looking forward to it.
Vote Christian.
I
hope y'all voted Christian, should I say?
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure, man. So so anybody who hasn't checked that out yet, you can go check that out for sure, and see how the Independent Artist Spotlight held up against the mainstream guys. But speaking of which, we actually did have one of your songs in a previous line for line showdown. Talk about what it was like to kind of have that experience happen and what the results were, because yeah, man, how was that for you whenever that happened?
Oh yeah, that was awesome, man. I think that was like back in November of last year. I kept watching it every week because I didn't know the exact date it was gonna come on.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, this is not the week. They're doing somebody else. Okay. Oh wait, it's not the week. And then I was like, okay, this is the week. And then I was sitting there watching it. Okay, that's not my song. All right, it's not my song. Okay.
I can't remember. Did they play your song first?
I think so, because I think he said he's gonna play all the Christian people first.
Gotcha.
And then play this. Oh wait, I think he did the world first. Actually, I can't remember.
But so what'd you think about the matchup with you and Common, man? Because honestly, like, I didn't listen to a whole lot of Common growing up.
Right.
But I guess I did kind of hear, the similar style. What'd you think about that matchup, man?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was great because I'm saying I've always been a Common fan, so I was kind of like, man, I hope I win. You know what I'm saying? Because you said Common's been around since the '90s, and that's when I started rapping. So he sounds a lot different now than he did then. I mean, not too much different, but he definitely kind of went in a different direction with I hate when that happens. I'm saying, but he went in like a different direction with like what he talks about. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, man. So you ended up winning that, man, and I think you were one of the few who actually won that week. So congratulations on that. And
thank you. Yeah.
So definitely looking forward to the new one that's getting ready to come up, or that has probably happened by the time this goes out. But Keep It Moving. So that's your new single.
Yeah, man. Keep it moving. That's the joint.
So, and you kind of say at the beginning of the song, this is for anybody going through stuff. So what was kind of your motivation behind actually doing the song, man?
Yeah, it's basically what I was telling myself for the last couple years. Don't give up. Keep moving forward. It don't matter if you don't have no money. It doesn't matter if you can't pay your bills. I mean, we was kind of struggling a lot. Since like 2015 till now. And right before I got this new job I got. And so it was really difficult. And that's kind of like what I was telling myself throughout the whole time. Like, yo, God has a plan for you. God's going to take care of you. You just got to keep moving forward, because we can feel like, man, it's time to give up. Like, and I just was like, nah, it ain't time to give up. And so I was chanting the song to myself before it was a song.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you wrote the song to yourself, and it pretty much applies to anybody?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Music, man, it's some of the best music, something that everybody can relate to. I like the individual stories of some artists, but then sometimes you just got to have that song that can just really hit everybody,
Yeah, because I figure, everybody has been through some type of difficult situation in their life. Whether it's money, whether it's people dying, whether it's frustration with your job. It's like, no matter what it is, everybody can understand and relate to that feeling. So I figured, why not? Why not make a song about something that's actually real?
Gotcha, man. Gotcha. So who does the production for? Because you have 3 singles right now, and who does the production for you?
Well, I did the production on Keep It Movin'. I also did the production on my first single, and the second single, a friend of mine did the production, Danny. And for the rest of the album, I'm probably gonna have, some different featured producers, and hopefully it just come together and sound awesome. I mean, that's the plan.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, before we jump into the album, I do want to get, just let people know about Prafit Josiah a little bit, maybe some background, how you got started in music, and then, obviously, most importantly, how you came to know the Lord.
Okay. Yeah. I guess, we'll start with the music. Back in 1993 is when I first started making music. It was me and my brother up in my grandmother's attic. Basically, it initially started from my dad. So my dad used to play all these Christian rap tapes for me in his truck.
Who was it back then? Who was the music?
It was SFC, Gospel Gangsters, PID, Mike Peace, a whole bunch of different people. And
throwback.
That's super throwback. And I remember him playing the music like, yeah, you're saying, check this out. And this is at the same time, Redman, Method Man, who else was out? EPMD, Rakim, and these, like, the Christian people weren't even coming close to the music, to the lyrics, to like anything at that time, because that's like the golden era of hip hop.
Right.
And you got Christian rap is kind of like just beginning and budding. And I just used to be like, dude, I can rap better than these people. And so I started rapping to prove to my dad that I could rap better than the people he was letting me listen to. And so, me and my brother made a little homemade tape, and I gave it to him. He was listening to it. He said, oh man, this is great. And so what happened was he started playing it for his friends. He started letting people at church listen to it. And it just started to become a little bit popular. People were like, oh man, these guys should really record. And we were just playing around. But he was like, you know what, this sounds really good. And so then we started taking it more serious, started going to studios, started recording. And it just kind of went on from there, and we just kept getting better and better. And I'm saying that's pretty much how it started. As far as me getting saved, I got saved way back in, what year was that? I'm old. But nah, I'm saying I'm in the 40-40 club. I'm 40. but yeah, so I got saved when I was 18, and God just really spoke to me. And then when I turned 21, I'll say that's when he kind of like set me on fire. It was like I wanted everybody to get saved when I turned 21. And so I would reach out to people, talk to people in gas stations, airports, elevators, so wherever I was at, I would just be like, yo, okay, I've been standing next to this person for 3 minutes. It's time to start witnessing to him. And I would just find a way to kind of weave God into the conversation. And, that's kind of like how it started. And as far as music goes, I've been doing music from like 93 up until like 2011. I stopped. I felt like I was done. I had a good run and I was pretty good. And then in 2016, my cousin got murdered. And when that happened, I kind of felt like God was calling me to do music again. And me and God kind of had this back and forth conversation. I was like, well, you don't really need me to do music right now. I'm older. There's a lot of good people out. I started listening to what, current Christian rap sounded like in 2016. And I mean, there's a lot of dope people out. And I was like, yo, these people are really good. And I was like, are you sure you want me to do this? Or is this just me talking to myself? And he made it very clear, like, no, this is something I want you to do. Like, there's a lot of good people, but you're different. And I want you to do what you do to add something different. And after a lot of back and forth with God, I decided, okay, I guess I'll be obedient and do it. And so here I am.
Feel you, man. So I think that's one probably in general, that's a deep topic for a lot of people is, trying to hear if God's calling them to do it, because especially in, Christian rap, there's a lot of people fans who rap. And
right.
And then something else that, Bizzle said a long time ago is, a lot of people, they rap before they're saved, and then they're called to or God, they find God, or they accept Christ, and then they feel like they're supposed to rap for God after they've been rapping for the world or whatever.
Right.
But how did you know that God was calling you specifically to do it? I know you said you wrestled. Was there anything like specific that happened or anything?
Yeah, I didn't really want to rap, so that's how I knew it was God, because it wasn't something I wanted to do. I've been rapping for a long time before, and it never really went anywhere as far as being famous or popular. I was, you know what I'm saying, kind of famous in my hometown, and a lot of people liked our music, but I knew it because I had like these weird thoughts that I felt like wasn't my own thoughts. So like, I mean, like I said, my cousin got murdered, and after he got murdered, I started having these thoughts like, what if I was making music? I wonder if I could have like prevented that or something. And I was thinking, well, music can't prevent stuff like that. But then it just was these extra thoughts that I don't normally have, and I wasn't even thinking about music like that. It was just like, well, I'm saying, what if, I'm saying, the person that did it, he was listening to your tape beforehand, maybe he would have changed his mind. Or what about your cousin? Maybe he wouldn't have been in that particular place or that situation. I mean, not that he was doing anything bad, but maybe he just would have been reading his Bible that night or something because he was listening to your tape or whatever, and he wouldn't have been where he was at. And so it just made me feel like, well, okay, maybe. And I just kept asking God, like, is this what you're saying? Like, you want me to do music? So then I started looking up Christian hip hop. And like I said, I found people that was really good. And before, when we was rapping, the reason I rapped was because I thought Christian rap wasn't good. So I was like, well, I need to do it. And so I came back and I was like, well, I don't need to do it. I mean, there's a lot of good people. So I could just sit back and chill. And I kind of sat back and chilled. And then that thought just kept coming back to me, like, make music. And I'm saying, just from experience of talking with God, I just realized whenever a thought keeps coming back to me that I'm not nursing on my own, it's like, that's God. And I'm saying, and then too, you get like this weird, it's almost like an inner pounding. that's the best way I could describe it, where it's like, okay, that's you. So, okay, I gotta do it.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you on that. And so were you listening to? Because I know you said that you went and you found some artists. So were you kind of jumping back into listening to Christian hip hop? How did that?
Yeah, I pretty much stopped listening to Christian hip hop because I had never heard anybody that was really that good to me. I mean, there was a few people. I think back in 2009, I heard like Eshawn. I was like, oh man, this dude is fired. And then, but other than that, I wasn't really checking for Christian rap like that because as far as I could remember, it just wasn't that good. I remember around the time when Lecrae did the first mixtape, and I saw him on YouTube, and it was like DJ Premier, and he had a lot of co-signers from the secular world that was like helping him do his music. And I was like, oh, finally, you know what I'm saying? We got a Christian person that's getting co-signed by like everybody in the industry that's dope. And so that kind of, for me, just solidified that I didn't need to do Christian rap anymore. I said, okay, somebody made it, then I'm done. You know what I'm saying? Because that was my goal, was to be the first person to actually kind of break through and reach regular people. And when I saw him do that, I said, okay, so then I could just fall back now.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's funny, like when you were talking about, you finally, found Lecrae and was like, yeah, we finally got somebody. It's like, they say on the TrackStarz show, we finally got one. And yeah, he was the first person I found that was really dope too. I think for the most part, he's one of the first that many people find. And
yeah.
I think we all kind of
very visible
that experience. So, yeah, man. So, I mean, right now, you have 3 singles, and you said you're working on. Are you working on a project now?
Yeah, for sure. I'm working on some songs right now. I'm trying to finish up the album. I got most of the music done, and I'm just writing and writing.
Gotcha. So, is it going to be an LP, an EP?
It's gonna be a full length album, man. I got a lot of ideas, from a long time ago that I never really got to use because I just never had the time for it, and I just kind of walked away from it a little bit. So I got a bunch of stuff that's pretty much ready to go, just because I always had stuff that was ready to go. I just kind of dropped it, and I'm just picking it back up.
Right, right. So, for anybody who hasn't heard your music yet, and hopefully they will with this interview if they haven't already, what is how would you describe your rapping style? Are you more of a lyrical rapper? Do you, do more of the vibe stuff? I don't want to call it mumble rap because some people find that offensive. But how would you describe your style of hip hop?
I mean, my style is like, I guess it's like basically like '90s rap. So, I mean, that's when I started rapping. So lyrics are like really important to me. Lines that make you go, oh man, that was fresh. Did you hear what he said? And I'm saying, but at the same time, I try not to make it too complex because I want the average person to understand what I'm saying. So, I guess it would be kind of like Biggie, but not exactly style wise. But the way he put his words together, it wasn't so deep that you didn't know what he was talking about, but it wasn't so simple that you were like, oh, this is corny. It was like a really good combination of lyricism and simplicity with what he's saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, that's good, man. It's interesting. Not a whole lot of artists are kind of in that vein, and I know listening to what was the title of your last single?
Keep it moving. Value your worth.
Value your worth. Value your worth.
Yeah.
When I heard, and I was like, okay, this has a good throwback feel to it, but it doesn't sound like really old. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to get that feeling in there, and so I thought that was pretty cool. And then Keep It Moving sounded a little bit more, a little newer, but it still kind of had that throwback feel. So
yeah. I mean, you know what's funny? Yeah, it's funny because I've never considered myself throwback or old, but you know, like I started rapping 20 years ago, so by default, everything I do is throwback. And it's funny to hear people say that to me. It's like, oh yeah, well yeah, I guess I am.
It's funny because a lot of CHH fans, they like the throwback. They like the more lyrical rap. They don't. Not everybody enjoys the vibe. I'm gonna call it vibe rap. I don't know what else to call it.
The vibes.
Yeah, vibes. There you go. But so in the long right now, you just dropped a single. I noticed on your social media platforms that you're also doing weekly verses. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, man. WeeklyVerses was basically birthed out of a tweet that I sent out to like DJ Wado and Rapzilla and who else I put on there? I think it was Rep the King Mag, and I also sent it to TrackStarz too. And I basically said, how do you get noticed in CHH? You know what I'm saying? So that, you know what I'm saying, maybe I could get somebody to write something about me, or, you know what I'm saying, just to kind of build some buzz around myself. And DJ Wado was like, one of the things you should do is put out consistent music. He was like, if you put out consistent music and it sounds good, people will start to notice you. And I just was like, you know what? That's a good idea. And so I decided right when I saw that tweet, I'm going to start doing a verse every week. Because I got verses that go all the way back to the 90s, so I could easily do that. And so I just was like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. And I just started recording a verse every weekend. So right now, I think I've been going maybe like 19 weeks, I think.
Dang, that's a lot, man.
Yeah, about 19 weeks. And I just do a verse. And it's like I always had songs that were 2 and 3 verses. So I'm like, well, that's 2 or 3 weeks. And I got all these old songs, you know what I'm saying, which people have never really heard before. And also, too, the music might be old, but I'm not really putting the music on there. So the lyrics are just lyrics. You know what I'm saying? It could be something I wrote today. It could be something I wrote a long time ago. You probably wouldn't even notice the difference.
Right. Well, that's dope, man. Speaking of, verses, I just got to say I really appreciate the fact that you had 3 verses on Keep It Moving in an era where most people are doing 2-verse songs.
Really?
I'm hearing a lot of music, man, where artists have 2 verses and maybe like a bridge to a hook.
But how long are the verses, though? Like, are the verses like 16 bars, or are they like 30 bars?
16 bars, man. I'm telling you.
Oh wow.
To really throw shots at anybody, Andy Mineo's last album had 0 songs with 3 verses in it.
Really?
Even Lecrae in his Anomaly album, Welcome to America was the only song where he individually had 3 verses. And I was just thinking,
now I gotta go back and listen. I just thought everybody did 3 verses.
Nope.
Because that was the format back in the day. I'm old.
I'm telling you. So now, like, I hear, a couple of older artists who put out music, and it'll be like 3 really long verses.
Right.
I'm telling you, man. I don't know. Or it'll be like 2 verses and maybe like just a couple bars at the very end. And
oh, okay.
So I do appreciate that. So is your album? Is it going to be 3 verse songs?
Not all of them. I mean, I got a song where like it might only be 2 verses, but then the verses are longer. So the songs are probably all going to be around like 3 or 4 minutes. But instead of doing 3 16s, it might be 2 like 30s or like 2 like 24 bars or something like that.
Gotcha. Just checking, man, because I appreciate the 3 verse songs, because I feel like you almost need to have the 3 to fully, you know what I'm saying? It's like, beginning, middle, end,
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know. Like, whenever I hear 2 verse songs, I'm like, man, I don't know. There's something missing here.
It's like, where's the end of the story?
And yeah, so, but yeah, so I appreciate that, and I think it'd be good to have a full album, and not just that, but the fact that it's going to be a full album is pretty dope. So so with your music video, man, who helps you do the music videos? Because you actually did a full video for Keep It Moving.
Yeah. So this is a really great story. So back in I think it was like February or March. Maybe I can't remember the month. But anyway, I was praying to God so that I can get a video done. And so I was going around asking all these people to find out how much they charge to do videos. Because I was like, it's 2017. Everybody got video. I need to have a video. And so everybody was saying, around $1,500, $2,000. A couple people were like a little bit cheaper. But then when I watched their videos, it didn't really look that professional to me. And so I was praying about it. And I said, God, if you could help me get a video done, that'd be really fresh. So I have a friend of mine that has a really good camera, and he's never done a video before. And I was like, yo, we need to shoot this video, man. And da-da-da-da-da. And he was like, I don't know, because I never shot a video before, and I don't want you to say I did it, and it don't look good, and da-da-da. I said, man, come on. And so I got him to do a video with me just doing one verse. Right. And I said, well, how about we just do one verse, and then I could use that as a trailer to shoot my real video, just so I have a video. And so he did that for me. And then after we did that, I think maybe like 2 or 3 weeks later, he was like, yo, we need to shoot the whole thing. I was just like, yes. and so that's pretty much how it happened. Actually, the dude that shot my video is the same guy that made the beat for Value Your Worth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool deal, man. So who did the editing for it? Was that you or was that him?
Oh yeah, that's all me. So I paid him a really small fee to record my video. I don't want to say
boys are for, right? That's what boys are for.
yeah. No, I mean, but no, I'm saying he said, yo, if you only pay me this amount, that's fine. So you know what I'm saying, I paid him that amount, which is way cheaper than $1,500, and I said, I've never done video editing before, but I'm about to get it popping. So I jumped on YouTube, started looking up how to do editing, how to do basic editing anyway, and I just did it myself.
That's dope, man. So what's your I'm just kind of curious to know, what's kind of your main goal and focus for your music?
My main goal and focus for the music is to essentially just, well, it's kind of threefold. It's like, one, I want to reach people that don't know Christ, right? I think that's the basic thing. But I also want to encourage people that already know Christ. And then I just want to make regular, just cool out music. You know what I'm saying? Where it don't really say anything. It's just like, it's summertime, it's a barbecue. Play that Prafit Josiah real fast. And so I kind of want to have those three elements so that no matter what type of mood you in, I kind of got something for you. So it's like, if you've never heard my music before and you're not a Christian, I'm saying you might listen to the music and then you might get saved, right? Then you get saved and you're like, okay, now you want to be encouraged because you're struggling with your walk. So now you encourage listening to the music. Now you're encouraged, you're a Christian, and you like, I don't really want to be preached to or whatever. I just want to turn on some dope music in my car and just ride out without having to worry about hearing cursing and people talking about things I don't really want to be involved in. And so I got that too. So it's kind of like, that's kind of like my mission with the music. You know what I mean?
So your music, content wise, it's a mix of so it's like a mix of theology and everyday life and all that kind of stuff, just kind of wrapped up together.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what you mean by theology, but it's definitely gonna.
I mean, like Flame, Shyland, the more sermons, like a sermon rap,
I don't know. It's hard to tell what you're saying by that description, but I'm definitely gonna have some songs in there where I'm gonna be unashamed talking about Jesus and trying to bring across a specific message that probably will be in scripture, but I don't sound like Flame or Shy, so it's hard for me to say that's what it would be like.
Gotcha.
But I guess you know what I'm saying, like Keep It Moving is kind of like that, where basically, you know what I'm saying, I'm talking about keep it moving, but you know what I'm saying, you hear Christ and Jesus in the hook of the song. You hear exactly what I'm talking about. I mentioned the Bible. I mentioned, you know what I'm saying, different things that are biblical, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like you need to do this and I'm pointing my finger at you. Like, I don't really like that.
I feel you. So it's not condemning.
No, I can't do that.
Cool. Do you think there's even a place for condemning in music today? Like, is there any place where people are looking for music to correct them?
I won't say there's not a place for it. I think that me personally, I try to make music like I do my real life. So like, you know what I'm saying? I go to work every day. I meet different people. I preach to some people about Christ. Some people I never mention Christ at all because I don't know them like that. Other people, I mean, we just chilling. And it's like, that's kind of like how I make my music. It's kind of like how I live my real life. And in real life, I always try to find a way to get Jesus into the conversation so we can start talking about it and hopefully win their soul. But it's like, unless I know you personally, I'm not really going to be telling you what you need to be doing. You know what I'm saying? Unless you ask me. And so, you know what I'm saying? I kind of got some things like that on my album coming because I got some, what's the word I'm looking for? I got some different skits where there's some stories being told. And so it can kind of bring it close to home so people can feel why I would be talking to somebody like that. But just to just pop it out there like, yo, you need to do this, you need to do that, because blah, blah, blah. That's not really effective. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you, man. I mean, whenever I listen to, back whenever I first listened to CHH, a lot of the music was like that. And for me, it was more like I felt like as a listener, I was just agreeing with them at how other people's lives were being lived inappropriately. And it wasn't really, talking to me specifically.
Right.
I feel what you're saying, man. And I do think it's important. Like, most people don't really listen to criticism of your life unless they really know you.
Exactly.
Kind of one of the things I was wondering about. And, not to bring up the whole debate right now, but, I think part of the debate in the CHH realm of what people are calling beef, in quotes, is kind of that discussion back and forth. So,
yeah, I mean, just to touch on it just a little bit. I don't really see the beef. I think that's kind of been blown out of proportion just a tad. I mean, Shyland had his point of view, and then Ruslan basically came back and stated his point of view. But because Ruslan, to me, sounds more like a 90s MC, it just came across different. But he just was basically just stating his point of view. And then you got a third person that came in. Well, the third person actually was a diss. He basically came in and was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? You need a spanking type. And that, but still, that's three people. Three people out of like, hundreds of CHH artists that are just doing their thing. And I hate that people looking at these three people and now CHH is in turmoil. It's just like, no, three people did what they did. And what about all these other people that's dropping albums and it's just so dope? But we just gonna ignore that. So that's just my take.
That's a good point, because I have been seeing a lot of CHHs in trouble. This, that, and that. And I think it's because most people, when they hear CHH, they just instantaneously think Lecrae. So if there's any major disagreements with what Lecrae does, people feel like that's like CHH is Lecrae. A lot of people see that.
That's crazy though. I mean, you got Bizzle, you got Eshawn. I mean, there's like tons of people that got fire and have been dropping fire for a long time. And for you to be looking at Lecrae, I mean, that's cool, but Lecrae is not in CHH anymore. We just want to hold on to him. Don't go. And it's like, he's gone. I mean, not that he's not a Christian. He's a Christian. I haven't seen Lecrae do anything that's even remotely ungodly. So he's a Christian. He just don't want to be in the CHH box. Cool. Let him go. There's other people that are just as good.
Yeah, that's the way I am, man. I'm like, I think, because I came up on Lecrae in CHH. And so when he first kind of was trying to depart away from the label and all that, I was hurt a little bit because I felt like he was pushing me personally away. Like, I don't want you to be a fan anymore. But, I had to learn that, you know what I'm saying? Right. Like, it felt like a personal shot at, at me as a person. And, but, then, after a while, I heard his heart, heard him on tour and stuff, and I realized that, okay, so he's not being ungodly in his approach to, trying to bring the gospel message to the world. So definitely, I understand what he's doing, and I love the fact that we still have guys who are extremely dope rappers who are talking about the gospel explicitly in their music as well. So I don't hate on what's going on, and there's artists right now getting ready to drop some music, including Prafit Josiah, who do speak about Christ openly. So
absolutely. I mean, that's where I came from, so I got to do it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. And so, kind of just, one last thing that I would love to know is, one, when do you think this project will be dropping? And two, are you looking at, are you just going to continue doing music? Do you have plans for future albums and concepts or anything? Or are you just taking it kind of one step at a time?
I'm just kind of taking it one step at a time. This album should be dropping later this year for sure. Like I said, I really feel like God's making me do this, so I really can't pussyfoot on it like that. It's like I really have to do it. I mean, just for my own personal, it's like this is something that's personal between me and God. I mean, I'm sharing it with the world so that everybody can hear it, but I'm only doing it because he told me to do it. So if I don't do it or I take too long, I kind of feel like there's something bad's going to happen. So it's like, I need to do what he told me to do. I forgot the second part of your question.
I was just asking if it was, I was asking when it was dropping, and then were you planning on doing anything future, step by step or anything like that? But you answered it though. You answered it. So
okay, yeah,
awesome, man. So where can people hit you up, man, if they're looking for a feature or they just want to find your music or just your online content? Because I mean, you have a lot more than just music that you do. So
yeah, for sure.
Where can find you at?
Yeah, I mean, you can find me at PrafitJosiah.com. Prafit Josiah, just like it's spelled in the Bible.com, and I'm on pretty much every social media /Prafit Josiah. So Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Prafit Josiah. And I mean, if you can't find that, just go to PrafitJosiah.com. All the links are on there. You can see all the videos. I mean, a whole bunch of stuff.
So actually, I do have to backtrack. I should have asked this at the very beginning.
Okay.
Break your name down real quick. Prafit Josiah. Okay,
so my group back in the day with my brother was called Prophets. And so, we spelled that Prafitz. just to be different, and because we felt like we was bringing a message to the world, and that's basically what prophets do. And so by default, I was Prafit. I was the Prafit Double C back then, and then my brother was the Prafit, whoever he was, and then so I just kept the Prafit part from our old group, and then Josiah is really one of my favorite people in the Bible. I was like reading through the Old Testament, and I remember looking for like a new name because I was tired of being called Double C, because I felt like it didn't really have a meaning other than, you know, my nickname is CC, so people could just call me Double C. And so I was like, you know what? I want something that's biblical. I want something that sounds cool. And I remember praying and reading through the Old Testament. I said, you know what I'm saying? And this is I was actually reading Kings, and I was like, the next king that comes up that actually did right in the sight of the Lord, that's gonna be my name. You know what I'm saying? Because in Kings it was like, yo, you know, King so-and-so, and he did evil in the sight of the Lord. It was like every chapter was like, he did evil. I was like, man, well, the next person that does good, that's going to be my name. And I think the next person I read was like Hezekiah. I was like, I don't want to be Hezekiah.
Nobody would spell that right.
Yeah, so I was like, let's wait for the next one. And so the next one that came up was Josiah. And I just really love this story, how he started at a young age and how he ruled, and then he found the book of the law, and he just really had a heart for God, and the fact that he was so young. And it's like in 2 Kings 22, and it's like, you know what I'm saying, I think at the time I was about to turn 22. It was just like a lot of things that seemed to match up with me. And I was like, oh yeah, that's it, Prafit Josiah. And then since then, that's just what I've been.
Awesome, man, awesome. Well, you heard it first right here, the breakdown of the name. I had actually wondered that for a while now. I've always wanted to ask you, so I'm glad I finally got that clarification, man.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if anybody would have spelled Prafit Hezekiah right. Like, that would have been a difficult thing to tell people to look up. And
yeah,
Prafit Josiah, that's Prafit.
Yes, sir. Prafit. Also, too, I mean, y'all don't do the freestyle rap joint no more on here?
Did what?
TrackStarz used to do
freestyle?
Yeah. Like, y'all don't do that no more?
Oh, you talking about on the Independent Artist Spotlight?
Yeah.
You want to start that fire, man?
Yeah, man. I mean, well, okay, it's not going to be a real freestyle because it's not off the top of my head. Okay. Oh, wow.
Well, actually, I'll let you set 16 of them.
Okay. So this is going to be something I wrote. It's not going to be an actual freestyle off the top of the head. And this is actually one of the joints that's on my WeeklyVerses. So let's do this one. Look, how long it been since the rhyme transcend time and shine Christ within, refuse to blend sin with the gospel, gotta blaze a new trail, be original, don't copy the simpel with sounds from a cell, call Christ escape hell. Jesus is real, Josiah in the field, like reserves overseas with heavy artillery, living what I believe, you deceived, I'm free, like that ill mixed T in your EAR drum, get some, there's no bass guitar, soundtrack to my life, his life, my life, Jesus Christ, my life, it don't mean no strife, in fact the opposite, never quit, what I spit might not be a hit on your 106 or your 89, 104 BET, but you still know it's sick like eating your own vomit.
There you go, man. There you go. And that's very appropriate, being that you said in the field.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah, TrackStarz, baby.
Well, brother, it was good having you here on the Independent Artist Spotlight. Looking forward to hearing and seeing what your new album does, man. And
absolutely,
I'm glad you reached out to do this, man.
Me too.
So anyway, again, Prafit Josiah, on behalf of Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah, this is Jason Bordeaux. And until next time, y'all have a great day. Beyond circumstance, my baby doing the dance while I write this song. Put your mind in a trance, focus on your goals. My aim to reach souls, get them through struggles. Life full of troubles, but we can make it. Your life's sacred, don't let them take it. You need your sanity, humanity is naked. When Christ the most hated, but he's never overrated or outdated. And Jesus
got the cheats in the book called the Bible. Read it for survival, it'll point you to heaven like the Eiffel. Angels will await your arrival. But we here right now, don't be stifled. Get an eye full of God's word, let it sink in. All sin is stinking, that's why we need Christ. He'll change your life for the better, but it may get worse at first before it's better. And we just can't win, keep it moving. Did I sin again? Yeah, keep it moving. I'm ready to die, no, keep it moving. Christ died already, so keep it moving. This ain't the time to quit, so keep it moving. Climb out the pit and keep it moving. This love has been proven. Keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving.